Coming to you from Nolans, where UFC 318 just wrapped up. Dan Hellie, McKenzie, Pavacich, the former champ Chris Weidman here with you. This is About Last Fight, a UFC and Fanatics original production. So here we are. UFC 318 is in the books, and I think it's safe to say, guys, that it is everything we thought it was going to be and more from the start to the finish. Weidman, this was a remarkable
Bro,
event.
I mean, can you ask for a better start to a pay-per-view than having 6 finishes in a row to start off the card?
What, 4 or 5 of those in the first round, too?
It was 4. 4.
was
Make sure you
5.
do your math.
I think it was 5. Actually,
I think it
you know
was
what?
5.
Producers in my ear, okay, they said there was all 6 in the first rounds. Unbelievable start to the card. You can't beat it.
Well, when this card was being built, it is the ultimate love letter to Dustin Poirier's career. But also, if you're making a return to Louisiana for the first time in a long time, it better be a stacked card. So it wasn't just the BMF title on the line in the main event. This card was built with BMF fights, with BMF fighters, people that represent that same fighting spirit that we saw in that main event. We saw it come through the entire card. And I want to add, we broke the record for the highest grossing gate in Smoothie King Center history. So if you're going to make a return to New Orleans, you're going to come back to Louisiana, you better be setting records, and we did that tonight.
Yeah, it was worth it. I mean, you got Dustin Poirier in his retirement fight. He's from here. It was a picture-perfect pay-per-view card for that.
It was a retirement party like I have never seen before. I've been calling it a love letter from the UFC to Dustin Poirier. Daniel Cormier stole my line in his post-fight interview. That's fine, DC. We'll give it to you. But that's exactly what it was. And even though it didn't end as the Diamond would have liked, it was a remarkable ending to a career that is no doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And when you think of this fight, and really the last handful of fights that Dustin have had, they couldn't embody his career and the fighter that he is better. And to go out with such a full circle moment, right? Max made his debut against Dustin. To come back 13 years later and fight one more time in your home state against someone really that you have a 2-0 lead over, which Max gets to in just a second in his interview. I mean, there was so much on the line here, and the only way it could have been better would be with Dustin getting his hand raised. But it's the nature of the sport. We don't script it here, and I don't think there could have been a more beautiful way to send him out. Max Holloway agreed, and we caught up with him right after his fight.
What an incredible fight, man. It was everything that we expected it to be and so much more. And I've loved all week long the respect that you guys have shown for one another. Mm-hmm. And you were so creative with your striking, as you always are tonight. And then we hoped the final 10 seconds, what happened. Did you guys agree on that beforehand?
I think we did. You know, I didn't agree beforehand, but he kept looking at the time. I looked at the time, and when it was 10 seconds, I was like right here, and he just kept getting, he did it. So I knew that motherfucker was lying. He said I was gonna point down, he's gonna shoot.
Yeah,
he was trying to bullshit.
you weren't about to sprawl. It wasn't happening.
You know.
Well, Max, I asked you this earlier in the week, but I realized maybe it was a better post-fight question for you. We talked a little bit about sending off a legend like this. Like, one of the best things that you could give to him was a war, and that's exactly what it was. So just like knowing how this fight played out, how it's played out for you getting the win, but also just being able to send off a legend like that it's like the ultimate sign of respect.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, Dustin kept thanking me for this fight, and I was telling him, "No, thank you, man." He was up 0-2 in the trilogy. His last fight, he could have fought anybody else, you know, and he gave me the opportunity to try to get redemption myself. He could have been like, "Yeah, F you, I'm 1-2, bro. I don't want to fight you," but he gave me the chance. He gave me the chance to win. Now, you know, and I got one. He didn't have to give me one, so he did. He kept calling me a legend. Like, bro, you're BMF doing that. Not many people would be up 2-0 and be like, nah, I want to fight him now. You know, you already beat my ass twice. What the hell you fight for the third time?
Yeah. Was there any extra pressure coming into enemy's territory, knowing that your opponent is going to be retiring regardless? Like, did you feel more nervous than usual or anything?
Not at all, bro. Not at all. I don't think there's going to be any fight that's going to top the real fight for me with Jose Aldo. I mean, maybe Ilia in Spain, but those guys pretty respectful up there. But the Jose Aldo one, you know, guys chanting in their language that you're gonna die is something else. So I got to experience that, and these guys They're all nice, you know. I had to force them to boo me. I had to ask them all week
I
to
know,
boo my
that was
ass.
crazy.
And,
I love that,
And
though.
they fight, and it was, you know. So they deserve it too. Dustin deserved that, you know. They deserve that because if he was in Hawaii, you know how Hawaiians are. They boo they boo
100%.
everybody. This guy's
Yeah.
like a certified macabre boy. But
Yeah.
if I was fighting his ass, he's still gonna get booed. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, my own family over there would probably boo my ass. Yeah, it's true. It is true. The other thing that you had on your mind, I mean, you're coming up with your first knockout loss, right? Like, so now the pressure, like everybody, fighters should get in their own heads with that. You know, I remember the first time I got knocked out, it's like, all right, do I have a chin anymore? Like, am I going to be able to withstand punches like I used to? Was that in your mind at all? Like, do I need to get one shot? Like, I need to feel one shot?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, if it happens, it happens. You know, like when you get hit and you get knocked out, you know, like people was getting crazy when I was like being like, oh yeah, you know, Gaethje. There's an interview when I said, oh, you know, Gaethje's punches I felt. And so I was saying he hit hard, but Ilia hit me, and of course he put me out. So like, there's a thing in your body when your body reacts to a hit. Ilia just hits that hard that your body just be like, oh fuck, let's save this, and boom, you know. And that's what I was saying, you know. So at the end of the day, if my body's gonna do that, why am I gonna think about it? I gotta be smart. I gotta be able to protect myself at all times, but I'm not gonna think of it. You know, this is a fight. I know who I was going on. This motherfucker's. Bro, I hate DC them. Not DC, but I hate DC.
You hate DC.
I hate DC, but I hate Dustin them's corner, bro. His boxing coach, man, they was trying to hit me with that shit that they hit me in the last fight. So I was like, what? And then they started stepping on my foot. I was like, God damn, Dustin, yeah, you're a damn animal for that. So you know, it's if it happens, it happens. You know, I'm here for a fight. I'm a fighter. Why am I gonna worry about? That's like I always tell my son. You shouldn't be worrying about something, you know. Just because you're scared of rain, are you gonna walk around with an umbrella? You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna walk around no freaking umbrella. It is what it is. If I get soaked, I'm gonna run to a store, go get a rain jacket. And if I get caught, I get caught. You know, there's nothing that I'm out of control.
That is a mindset where that's like an inspiration to a lot of fighters right there. Like because people don't know how to deal with, you know, adversity. They come back from that and you just came out, and that's the mindset I think you need as a champ.
100%, especially with somebody like Dustin that's coming full blast, bro. His last fight, we was expecting the best Dustin. We got the damn best diamond out there. I fucking hurt him in the first round. The motherfucker came back. I hurt him in the third round. Then he hurt me in the third round. I was like, motherfucker. I was like, what the hell? You know what I mean? I fight the zombie in the retirement fight. That guy almost came back a couple times.
Bro.
And then now I'm fighting the diamond. I'm like hitting him. I'm like, bro, why are you not getting hurt? And then I was like, God damn it, he's the diamond. That's why.
Yeah.
It was the second round, I think, when there was kind of a momentum shift at the end of the second, if I'm remembering correctly, where he was getting the better of you. And then you came out in the third, and you guys were both going back and forth. But did you feel that momentum shift?
In my mind, when I'm in there, I feel a momentum shift all the time. Like even when he's like landing couple and I don't, I'm like in my mind counting, you know, and then I get overzealous and I hear my coach be like, calm the hell down. That's what the hell you doing? You're up. You know what I mean? Like chill. So I hold myself to a high standard in there. So I always feel like the momentum is always on his side no matter what. Then when I heard the unanimous decision, I was like, oh shit, my coach wasn't lying to me. You know, sometimes I feel like they're lying. You know what I mean? But that's what they're there for.
Yeah.
When you gave the mic up, you had a couple of words, and then you came back in and got the crowd, you know, roaring for Dustin. Was that your plan initially, to talk as little as possible?
100%. After the fight, I told myself, if I won, this is not your moment. It's not your moment, Max. This is Dustin's moment. Give him his moment. I can be here. If I want to call somebody out, you know, I did it really fast. Just let people know. People need a reminder. So I did a real fast thing, but I can start calling people out here or re-saying what I want to do. That was his moment. He brought this thing to Louisiana. Damn, Weezy walked him out. He deserved that moment. And you're going to see a lot more of me still yet. So, you know what I mean? I didn't have to need the mic. I got the mic back here.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
So what is next? I know you mentioned the Poirier. Is there anybody else, or is that your mind?
I mean,
is set?
the ball is in UFC's court. We see what happens. We see what they're going to do. If they want to go that way, we can go that way. I know there's a lot of people calling this gimme belt, and now all of a sudden it's legit now, and they want to fight for the BMF. So there are some guys, you know. There's also Oliveira. I heard he was yapping, saying that our first fight was injuries. You know what I mean? He had an injury when we fought. Last time I checked, when they did a follow-up and they wanted to find out what his injury was, there's no injury report on it. They said he was fine, so I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
From a BMF perspective, what about Hooker?
Brother, a BMF, that's a BMF. We need a BMF ranking. UFC, please have a BMF ranking.
Yeah, you're right.
I love that.
You got to work your way up.
Yeah, so we can let them know. I mean, I'm not saying no to Dan Hooker, but I'm just saying, can we please have a BMF ranking so we can see it? Actually, I don't even know if it's UFC. Can we get the fans to do it? Because UFC's rankings is fucking all over the place. You know this shit. Like, holy shit.
Can't even look at him.
The UFC 300 one, you know what I mean? I beat he was in line. He was the number one to fight for the title, right? With Justin being next. He was ranked number 5, I think. And then I did what I did at 300 and I came in at 9. That just made
Bro, when you change weight classes, that same thing happened to me, man. I went up to 205. I was like 6 at middleweight. I went up to 205, lost, came back down. I was like 15, 14.
That
I'm like,
makes
bro,
no sense, bro.
how is that possible?
Yeah, even with the last fight, you know, with the BMF and everybody, I hear everybody yapping like, oh, it's whatever. I'm like, brother, that's a different weight class. Do you see Islam walking around with 2 belts after beating Volkanovski? You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. There's weight classes for a reason.
All right, I love that. So let's get a BMF ranking going. Hashtag BMF. Anybody that listens to this, let's go. We want to hear your top 10.
Let's go.
Max wants to hear your top 10. What a night, brother. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and what an unbelievable performance from you.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys all week. You guys, it's always great to me. So thank you guys for having me again.
Congratulations.
You're the man, brother.
Thank you,
Congrats.
Everyone's certainly wanting a piece of that BMF strap. If you don't make it into those top 10 rankings of these BMF rankings that's coming up, you can actually buy one of these belts amongst all of the other UFC 318 gear at the UFC store. Dan, I think I saw you.
No, I don't have the belt.
One
I don't
into
have
your
the belt.
bag.
We have the belt right here.
Belts
but
are
you
awesome.
can also get these T-shirts. My son's a big fan, and look, check out the shirt.
I want
I
one.
love it.
I want one of those things.
How sweet is that?
I think we could arrange it.
All right.
And if we can arrange it, UFC
Promise,
store.
McKenzie?
I'll do my best.
All right. UFC store is probably where I got to go, but it's okay.
I'm sure you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to chat with Dustin, by the way?
Yeah, so unfortunately, we didn't get an interview from Dustin, but I was able to just check in with him a little bit as he was walking out of the locker room. And, you know, he's very disappointed. He actually felt like the fight was closer than the scorecards said. But I just let him know, this is the best retirement that I've ever seen in my life. In the UFC, I had Robbie Lawler as number 1 up until this. Even though he didn't get the win, he showed that fighting spirit. And that's what he was basically saying to me out there. He was like, honestly, he's disappointed, but I just wanted to show my fighting spirit. I'm like, bro, you did. You were in this dude's face. You dropped him. You got hurt. You came back. It's a storybook ending for him, even though he didn't get the win. It's like a movie.
Something that really stood out to me in the last month or so was a quote he said in an interview with Megan O'Leary. He said a big thing he learned from his mom was leaving things better than he found it. And he was talking about that in reference to all the community work that his mom had done and now all the community work that he does. And I can't let this night end without pointing out that Dustin Poirier is leaving this sport better than it was when he entered it. He helped build this sport to this mainstream, like, spectacle. What it is today would not be possible without people like Dustin Poirier, without people like Chris Weidman. But the superstars that we see come from this sport, your Ilias, whoever else is coming out next, it's all possible because of people like Dustin Poirier.
And it ends like a Marvel movie. He's fighting another superhero. And Max alluded to it in the interview. He gave him an opportunity that he didn't need to give him. Dustin could have handpicked anybody that he wanted to for this fight, and he gave Max the opportunity to fight for a third time. It didn't end like Dustin wanted it to end, but it was an unbelievable retirement party. There ain't no party like a Poirier retirement party, I'll tell you.
Careful. And one more thing I got to say before we stop talking about Poirier is, I mean, he finished his career off on such a strong note. He put everything in that octagon the entire time. I don't know. I'm just blown away. I'm blown away by this guy and everything that he's done in his career.
Last thing on Dustin, 8 of his last 11 fights were against former champions. It's
One more thing, because I actually forgot what I was going to say.
You're just going to one-up me on everything I say?
Yo, this guy retired. He just did 5 rounds, and he didn't look like a guy who should be retiring. And I'm like, bro, how are you retiring like that? It's very hard.
He has been saying he wanted to walk away with his faculties intact, and he wanted to retire from the sport and not have the sport retire him. And I think that is that could be a really tough decision, but it just shows you have to be happy and proud of what you accomplished in the octagon. If you're able to walk away, he's got a beautiful family. He has such important work that he does. And he said, I'm going to stay involved in the sport. I'm not going to just ride off into the sunset and never look back. He's going to still be in the gym, training, learning, mentoring, coaching. I mean, I can't wait to see the diamond in the corner.
Well, he just texted me. He said, "I'm coming after Weidman's job. I want to start commentating."
That's how you know that's a lie, because you know he's not texting Dan Hellie. if I mentioned
Facts.
Dan Hellie to him,
Facts. He'd be like, "Who's that guy?
who the hell is that
Did he
guy?
pick Max in this fight?"
No, I would be like that old white guy who's on the Wayne show with us. Then he might know.
Now
He
you're
might
playing
remember.
DC's role. That's not nice.
It's true.
That's not nice.
Something that people are not saying about Paulo Costa is, who is that guy? Or if they are saying it, they're like, who is this Paulo Costa? Who is making this return after, facing a good bit of adversity over the last 2 years. He hasn't won in a couple years now, coming away with the victory, looking so good, so polished against a really game opponent in Roman Kopylov. I mean, just what you want to talk about, people who are proud of their performances. What just a great way to get back in the win column.
Well, in his nickname's the Eraser, right? So he was erasing the last 2 fights were against very, very good fighters,
Well
Robert
done. That was
Whitaker
good.
and Sean Strickland. That's what professional broadcasters do, Weidman. You're going to learn that slowly but surely as you cut your teeth.
Never
in
do
this
I
new
want to be
job
like
of yours.
you. Never. if that's what a professional broadcaster is you, I'm out.
Oh,
I
God.
want nothing to do with it.
Well, Paulo Costa wanted to be like you.
That is
he got
true.
really
Mucho
excited
respect.
to have you on the other side. of the
I'm a fan of that dude, and I was blown away with his performance tonight. We wanted to see a more aggressive Costa, because that's kind of, in his last couple fights, he wasn't as aggressive. He was pretty tentative. But not only did we see him throwing the hands that he's kind of known for, but his kicks were just unbelievable tonight. Teep kicks, big kicks to the body, big kicks to the head, monster right hands that dropped him, and cardio for 3 rounds. Because when you're so explosive like that, usually as the fight goes on, you kind of start slowing down, and he did not. He's always had the big name. He's exciting to watch, very good looking. You got that secret juice thing that everybody loves talking about. But now he just had an amazing performance on a co-main event on a monster card. His star power is just going to be rising right now.
How you come back and make it back into the win column. A very technical breakdown. Paulo also got into a lot of the technicalities of his approach to this fight. We caught up with him.
Well, I have to say it looked like the secret juice was on point tonight, man. Your kicks, your feints, so effective early on in terms of keeping Kopylov kind of hesitant. Was that the game plan going in?
Yes, the game plan was go forward him, pressure him, cut the angle, not give space for him, because he has a very effective and dangerous head kick in the left leg, and a good straight as well. So I need to keep the distance, exact distance, to not be easy target for his punches and kicks, and specific in the head. He didn't kick it too much my head. I was surprised. I was expecting for that. But yes, he's a very tough opponent. He's, world top level of kickboxing. And resilient as well, because he fell down and back multiple times. And he showed a lot of will, a lot desire. But I told my guys before in the bus coming here, say, guys, I cannot go back. I will not go back home without this victory. This victory is ours. I'm gonna get this victory for us. We deserve this. We need that. So I'm happy.
The last 2 years for you, I imagine, a little difficult with the inactivity in 2023 and, a couple of losses. What during that time, though, kept you grounded and really focused? Because that can pull people into a really dark place.
Oh, yeah.
And you made the most of it, and you came out on the other end.
Oh, yeah. It was a very tough moment. One of the worst moments in my life, because in these days with social media, you have too many voices, and they become so loud at some moment. And if you pay attention, if you roll the comments, you can get very sick.
Yeah, 100%. I know that. I know that, but
Yeah, it's not good. It's not. This is something very real. And at some point, you can lose the confidence. This is normal on yourself. And yes, but I had a great team. They put me back in the track. They make some changes because I still looking for my best version, learn new things. I never stop. This 1 year that I was out of UFC fighting, I was not resting. I was training, looking how can I do better things and fix some mistakes. And this guy's code put me in the track. Be very aggressive as always. Bring my extract my best. What is my power, my willpower. Pressure on my opponents is not stay just bouncing and give it to them room. So we was focused on this and go forward. You know, and yeah, I deserve to them. I think.
You talked about all week of going back to the old Costa, that
Yeah.
aggressive Costa. But we've seen even I think a different Costa, a more polished, a guy who mixes it up probably better than he ever even mixed it up when he was winning all those big fights. Was that like an added pressure that helped you evolve during this time off?
I think you mentioned something very special. Yes, you had that eyes to identify that. Yes, because I was not like a dumb, just going forward. I need to be aware to not get punched and kicked because all these guys in the top middleweight division, you was there. You still fight?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. But thanks for asking.
Yeah, you know better than me. A former champion. So yeah, just a little mistake and boom, it's over. The lights cut off. So I that is what was so difficult because I needed to be back to be aggressive, but at the same time stay aware and stay away from the punches and the kicks that will come. So this is a lot of work.
The question is now, what's next? You talked about Chimaev. We all know you hate him. You want that shot, but he's got that title fight booked right now. Other guys in the middleweight division with big names that I could think of that would be amazing fights for you would be the Adesanya rematch or the Strickland rematch. Which one of those would you prefer?
I would like to fight everyone that I lost to, like Strickland, Adesanya, Whitaker.
Yeah.
No, I'm here. I'm here for all those guys. I want my revenge back. I'm a revenge man.
That's awesome. I love it.
Well, you're on the right path, my friend. You did well tonight. You look good in almost every single round, every single moment, every single exchange. You earned it. You worked hard, and you got the big win.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks
Let's
for joining
go.
us.
My man. Congratulations.
A lot of options moving forward for the number 13th ranked middleweight Paulo Costa. I loved how he didn't shy away from the idea of a rematch and that he rises to the challenge and welcomes the challenge of the people who have beat him. So to know that there are possibly some rematches on the horizon and the cards have fallen kind of perfectly for a new matchup. Big things, I think, for Paulo Costa in the future.
He wants that revenge. That's what he wants. It's crazy. I agree. It is kind of rare. Especially like the Strickland fight, I could see that because it wasn't like he was, beat up too badly in that fight. But the that Adesanya fight was a tough pill to swallow. He kind of got dominated and got finished. And to want to have that fight again is pretty impressive. But I also understand it. I mean, he's got a huge name, and those guys have huge names. Once you get a big name, you hate fighting guys like a Kopylov, But he did have a great spot on a card, co-main event on a pay-per-view. So he's just gonna rise up now, and he's gonna want bigger and bigger fights.
Or perhaps a showdown with Whitaker, right? Like he's one of the more popular Brazilian fighters on the roster. So certainly helped himself tonight.
The Hevenge was good. Your
That was
Brazilian
good.
Portuguese accent. You kind of look like a fighting nerd right now,
What's going on with the
actually.
glasses?
Well, thank you. These are actually the meta glasses, and I actually wore them for some of the fights and us doing the podcast. Not only do I look like Clark Kent, which is very handsome Clark Kent.
oh, God.
They
Gag me
fit
with a
my
spoon.
big head. Like if these glasses fit my head, they can fit all the big head people out there. So you're good. That's pretty cool. It records everything. It's easy. It's
What
like
you
I got a
can't-
video camera here, and you don't even know it.
What they can't see is about the hinges are about to pop off. I mean, they're barely hanging on by a thread on that fat nugget of
I
yours.
don't think you get the quality. These are Ray-Bans.
Oh, they
so
look
they
good.
Meta partnered with Ray-Bans. So these are high quality, man.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
even on the big head. I don't know how Chris is catching all of these strays, but sorry about it, bud.
I'll tell you what, Daniel Rodriguez is not catching these strays. D-Rod not catching these strays after his fight with Kevin Holland tonight. That was an awesome fight. That to me could have been fight of the night easily.
Definitely could have been fight of the night, especially when you take into consideration the short nature aspect of this fight. I mean, two men who are always game. As long as their bodies allow them to get into the octagon, they're there. And I know this fight was booked a couple times. To finally get it playing out inside the octagon on a pay-per-view slot where it deserves to be, I think it played out exactly the way that we were hoping it would.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is on a 3-fight losing streak. Oh, he was on a 3-fight losing streak. Now he's on a 3-fight winning streak. He went into this fight as a huge underdog, like almost a plus 500 underdog. And the reason is because Kevin Holland is very tall, very good with boxing, and that's what D-Rod is good at. But I thought the height and everything was going to be too much for him. But man, he pressured him and got inside the zone where he could land some good shots. Hurt Holland. I haven't actually seen Holland hurt like that in any of his fights before. He almost got put away twice in that fight. And then D-Rod, you could see he got a little bit tired in that second round trying to get 2 finishes, and then was able to storm back and find a way to win in that third round when he ended up getting hurt in the third round too. It was just a gritty fight.
I do want to say, if you're just listening to this and it sounds like there's an earthquake, there's a lot of breaking down going on around us. Our audio guy is face palming himself right now because he's hearing all this craziness. That's what's happening right now. We apologize for that. If you're watching it, maybe a little easier. So check us out on YouTube.
Someone who is not face palming, though, is Danny Rodriguez. He came away with a big victory here at UFC 318, and we caught up with him right after the fight.
Well, long time waiting for this fight, my friend. Booked twice before. You come into this one on short notice. You're a plus 425 dog, one of the biggest underdogs on the card, and just find a way to get it done in a fight of the night, just absolute dog fight, man. What was it like?
Man, that was exactly what I expected. Kevin Holland, man, I've been training to fight him for a long time now. It's the third time, and it's kind of one of those things. I always wanted to fight him. It's like one of those things that I just had to do it in my career to just close that chapter and I could just move forward now. You know, unfortunately, hopefully it comes with a spot in the rankings now.
Yeah, 100%.
I love that despite the fight falling through a couple of times, like I think some people would just be like, yeah, you know what, never mind. I love that you still pursued it. Like you said, it was a thing to check off for your career. You couldn't end a career without fighting Kevin Holland.
Yeah, I mean, I only had 3.5 weeks to get ready for this, so
It's crazy.
so it was just hard work and going there. You know, I know he's been active this year, but I had just fought about 2 months ago, and one of my buddies had a fight right after, so I didn't get no time to take off. So, you know, they offered me the fight, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
And what do you have to do when you have prepared for someone twice, really? What do you do to not rely too much on what you think you know about Kevin Holland because you've studied him so much, and really be able to make these adjustments in real time, but also have the faith that you are well prepared for this fight. You do know how he fights.
Yeah, really, at this point, I already know how to fight, you know, so it was just a matter of getting my cardio up. So it wasn't really like I did no preparation for Kevin Holland. I just prepared myself to go to war.
I love that approach.
What is it about you two that there's so much respect there? Because usually Kevin Holland, he's talking a lot of trash. He's in there talking trash. And with you, there was like none of that.
None of it at all. Not even during the fight.
Were you expecting that? Were you expecting that?
No, when somebody told me, you know, when someone who thinks they gangster runs into a real gangster.
I like that. I like that. Yes, it might have been the Jesus tattoo that he was like, all right, I'm not disrespecting this dude. He's got a Jesus tattoo on the middle of his head, by the way.
Strategy, bro.
Yeah, I love it, definitely. How about the second round, man? You almost had him finish twice. Was it real hard to find that second wind after? I mean, when you're trying to chase a finish, I mean, it's everything, and it's a short notice fight for you. As you're doing that, is it in your mind like, what if this guy doesn't go away? How am I going to be feeling?
Yeah, man, I'm surprised. After the first knockdown, I landed 2 really hard shots coming down. And, yeah, he was able to block the rest of my shots. And I ended up getting back up. You know, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to waste all my energy right here grappling. He's already hurt. So let him back up, you know, which is, you know, I probably shouldn't have done it because he ended up taking me down. But, yeah, man, that was a really, really close. I almost finished it, you know, and
So close.
Yeah, and then going into the third round, you know, I don't know what the hell he hit me with, but that shit was close.
Yeah, that was a crazy third round. I think you guys both hurt each other in that third round too, but that second round, man, he was so close to going out. And I think he made the right decision because he was begging for you to stay on top of him so he could get a grip and kind of try to pull you in and just get his wits back. So I think he did the right thing. And also, you don't expect Kevin Holland to be shooting takedowns.
Yeah,
I turned him into a wrestler.
Yo, I was surprised with that. I was surprised that he went in for a shot. I mean, it was a weak shot, but I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it just showed me that he didn't like what was happening on the feet.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It had to be a confidence builder for you when Kevin Holland is shooting on you.
Yeah.
For sure. Yes.
So-
That's a good spot.
It's your 20th pro win. You're 10-4, and you mentioned moving into the rankings most likely. What's up next? Who do you want to see?
Man, you know what? I hadn't even thought about what's next. I mean, the main thing was my focus was to fight and beat Kevin Holland, and you know, and if that comes with a spot in the rankings, then you know, I'll take it. You know, but like I said, that was just one of those fights where I just had to see what would happen. You know, so I get to close the book on that dude, and you know, I get to ride off in the sunset. You know.
Whatever's next, a full camp this time.
Hey, look, I need a full camp at this point. You know, like
You've earned it. You've earned it.
yeah. I need a full camp, but given the opportunity on this card to fight Kevin Holland, and the fact that they put us like the featured fight, I mean, you know, it says a lot about you know, like the UFC and their expectations from me. You know, it's like to put on a show, and that's what I do every time. Like one the highlight of this whole situation is when I ran into Max Holloway, one of my favorite fighters, and he's like, man, I'm excited to see you fight. Like, you bring it every time. And man, for him to tell me that is like the ultimate confidence boost. So, you know, I took that in with me on the fight. You know, I knew that this fight was going to be a banger, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Well, I'm definitely the oldest one on this set, so I don't want to bring up age all the time, but at 38, you've had an unbelievable career, and as you've said, the older guys have gotten it done on the card so far tonight.
Yeah, Michael Johnson did his thing tonight.
Yes, and Pitbull, he's 38.
Yeah, Pitbull.
Yeah,
myself. You know, and you know, that's crazy. You know, I'm you know, I was riding a 3-fight losing streak. Now I'm riding a 3-fight win streak. You know, and you know, that shit helped me put it. Like, man, shit got real dark for me on those 3 losses, and it pushed me. You know, and every win. It's just like, it's rejuvenation. It's like, it brings me more energy, you know, and I'm more hyped. Like, I'm more excited to do this shit, you know, and you know, shout out to the fans and my friends and family, teammates that keep me in the game, keep my head on straight. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be here right now.
It says a lot about your character and your intestinal fortitude to get it done. Thanks, D-Rod.
Thank you.
Yo, congratulations, man. That was amazing.
Thank you, bro.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Gotta absolutely love a fight like that, a win like that for a guy like Daniel Rodriguez. I mean, he hinted at the dark place he kind of fell into when you have 3 fights in a row that you lose, to pull yourself out of that and make it 3 in a row that you win. I mean, the mindset that you have to pull yourself out of something like that and to keep it going. I mean, what's that got to be like for him?
Well, that's called the gangster mindset, and that's what that dude is. He's a real gangster. He looked at me in the eyes and was like, because I'm blown away at the respect these guys have for each other in there. Kevin Holland not talking trash, no pre-fight antics, nothing. He was just super respectful. And in his mind, it was because that's what happens when a wannabe gangster meets a real gangster. And I think he meant that with all due respect. You know?
Wait, and if you missed this fight, you missed out. I hope they can give 2 fight of the nights, because this was the fight of the night up until the main event, which was just absolutely amazing. But you mentioned it, the turnaround after losing 3 straight to come back and win 3 in a row just shows you what this dude's made of.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Holland turn into a wrestler in a fight like this.
I know,
before.
right?
He turned into a great wrestler, by the way. I know that was kind of his issue for a long time. He's going against wrestlers. He's struggling. So, you know, he's worked on it. But to see him employ it, he did get a takedown. You know, he looked pretty good in there for a little bit. But Rodriguez, man, he just didn't stop. And he took this on such short notice.
Yeah.
And by the way, don't forget, Holland had him hurt in the 3rd round, and he weathered the storm to pull out the win. That was impressive.
Yeah, really impressive. It's someone who also worked on a lot of wrestling, as we saw in his fight, was Patricio Pitbull. Really just such a good thing to see him come out and get this win and kind of silence the haters, maybe silence some doubt in himself.
Yeah. I remember talking to Captain Eric, his coach, before his first fight in the UFC, and he was telling me his wrestling is great. I mean, he's been training with Eric for a long time, Henry Cejudo, but you never really got to see it. And his back was against the wall. I think take away the main event, because the pressure those guys had on him was on a whole different level. But this guy, he comes into the UFC, first fight doesn't look good. Everyone's like, why did he get signed? And then they put him on another pay-per-view. And for him, if he went back out there again and just didn't pull the trigger, it's not the same guy. He's a guy that came over from Bellator that should have never been here, you know? And he answered those questions, man. He looked like a well-rounded mixed martial artist. Big power on the feet, hurt Ige a couple times, and beautiful takedowns, great control on the ground.
You mentioned the pressure. He really got thrown to the wolves against Yair Rodriguez, his first fight in the UFC on that type of a card. And then he comes back and has to fight a guy who's tough as nails in Dan Ige and takes care of business. I don't know if yes, pressure is a privilege, and all these fighters had pressure tonight, but certainly there was a lot of pressure on him.
He's got a great team around him. And you mentioned Captain Eric. He and Patricio joined us for this interview.
Captain Eric alongside Patricio Pitbull, first UFC win, Patricio, and it was a little different camp for you this time. You isolated yourself. You worked on wrestling a little more. Is that something, obviously, it's paying dividends. Is that something you're going to continue to do from here on out?
Iggy is a very tough opponent. I have a lot of respect for him. We are in MMA, so we have to do what you have to do, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking, everything. So that was necessary to put him down and mix her a little bit up, and it was what I did.
Yeah, after getting this win on your belt, I mean, the monkey's off your back. There's probably way less pressure. But I want to talk about the difference between your first fight in the UFC, you're on the pay-per-view, and your UFC debut, versus the pressure you had on you for tonight. You know, another pay-per-view there, coming off a loss. Like, where did you feel more pressure between those two fights?
The difference between the two fight that I did was that I won the fight. I am not very happy yet. I know I can do better. Maybe next one I'm gonna do the real thing.
A finish, you're saying? Like, knock someone out, submit them. I know you worked on your wrestling a lot this camp, right? Like, was that a big factor? Your wrestling looked great.
Thank you.
Is that all because of Captain and Henry Cejudo?
Yeah, of course. Eric and Cejudo helped me a lot, and it was an honor to me. Listen, this thing about me from you.
Thank you, man. Of course.
A completely different Pitbull came out in rounds 2 and 3 than we saw in round 1. So what was the biggest change, maybe some corner advice that you received that you really felt made the difference in those later rounds?
I'm a little bit sad because I always do that when someone hit me. I'm like a little bit more violent when someone touch me, I can do that without get hit.
You need to get hit a little bit before the real Pitbull comes out.
Yeah.
Who does Pitbull want to see next? I know that you would love you and Volk had a lot of back and forth for a while. Maybe Max for the BMF title, but there's a few other guys in the division, a Lerone Murphy, a Josh Emmett, a Brian Ortega. You're going to move into the rankings, right, for the first time.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about Aaron Pico. All this week he was without the next fight because Mozov is hurt. I don't know what has happened, and I'm free to fight him, to face him.
Pico.
Yes.
And you got a great crew to prepare for a guy like that, a guy with great wrestling, but also a good striker too.
Yeah. He's a boxer and a wrestler. So he's complete. He's good. We was in Bellator for a long time. I was the champion. He can't go to the belt. And now we are in the UFC. Maybe we can do that now.
I love it.
I love that fight. Absolutely.
I like that. So maybe Aaron Pico is next. Pitbull, your first UFC win. Congratulations. And hopefully the first of many more.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Really happy to see a guy like Pitbull finally get that win in the UFC. Someone who has just such an extensive MMA career, and to UFC fans who don't watch the other promotions might not know really what he's capable of, to finally see him get that win and now move on to bigger things. I mean, it's got to feel so good for him, right?
Yeah, I mean, the guy has so much pressure on him in his UFC debut. He has a knockout win over Michael Chandler. Everybody was talking about how dangerous he is, and then he goes out there and just doesn't doesn't really do anything. Gets kind of exposed by Yair Rodriguez, and then comes back in this fight and just looked phenomenal.
Well, and that's why it's so nice to have you here after you missed the last one, the inaugural episode, because they look at you and you can see the relief on their face, and they know that you understand that, the pressure, and then coming back to get the win.
Yeah, that's always my biggest thing when I talk to fighters. It's all the mentality and the pressure, because that is such a big part of it. And you're on a losing streak or you're on a winning streak or it's your UFC debut. Every bit of it just adds a little bit of a different type of pressure, and everyone deals with it a little bit differently. And it's interesting to get inside their minds.
And you certainly felt like he felt that there was plenty of gas left in the tank to have a couple of more really strong performances.
Definitely. And at the age of 38, I mean, actually, we saw a couple guys tonight, a couple of the older guys, if we will. I mean, age is just a number. Michael Johnson definitely proved that tonight with the win over Daniel Zellhuber. I mean, someone so young in their UFC career, and he said in his interview, which we'll get to in a second, like, I thought I had him hurt, and he snapped back so quickly.
Yeah.
And you could, I mean, this, his first fight was in 2010. I mean, this guy's been fighting in the UFC for 15 years, and to come out here and put on a performance like he did tonight was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he's now on a 3-fight win streak, but the pressure on this guy, where he's dealing with this prospect up and comer, nobody really knows him, very dangerous, very big, strong, has knockout capabilities. But then to make things worse, this guy disrespects him, puts up Instagram videos to try to get the fight with Michael Johnson, of Michael Johnson getting knocked out. And so as a vet of the sport who's fought the who's of the who of the lightweight division, to get disrespected like that, and then to go on a pay-per-view and have the potential to lose to him, there's a lot of pressure there. And I think we saw the best Michael Johnson we've seen. I mean, he was able to deal with the kicks. I mean, he came in here, ice bags on his arms and everything. He dealt with those kicks really well. He got into boxing range and just lit Zellhuber up on the inside, dropped him at least once. It was really impressive performance.
And Zellhuber, by the way, coming in as a minus 700 favorite.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I mean, I feel like the disrespect for Michael Johnson, he didn't really let it get to him. Even like during the presser, they had kind of gotten into it a little bit of back and forth, and you could tell the difference in the demeanor and their energy and maybe their mindset too was experience. And experience definitely played the part in this one. We caught up with Michael Johnson.
39 years young. And your first 3-fight winning streak in over a decade, man. Oof. What does it feel like?
First of all, I don't like that. I don't like that you opened with that, right?
What do you mean?
I kind of agree with that. I was like,
that's a great compliment.
But that is a good compliment. You're bringing the facts to me, and I appreciate the facts. Yeah. This world doesn't live on facts these days. But it feels great. It feels great to get a decision win like that against a young up-and-comer. Once I heard unanimous, I'm like, all right, I got this for sure. If they would have said split, I probably would have walked out right when they said that.
Yeah.
Michael, I want to talk about the build-up to this fight, though, because there was a lot, I wouldn't even call it back and forth, but just a lot on Daniel's side of just, things on social media, then the talk at the press conference. And how do you manage what could maybe be felt as disrespect and let it motivate you, but not let it actually get in the way of what you're trying to accomplish?
It was extreme disrespect, but, he started it so long ago. And I'm like, man, if they give me this fight, you're just like fueling so much fire. Like, you're the reason I get up at 5 a.m. to go run and get in the gym and do strength and conditioning. You're the reason why I'm doing 4 sessions a day. You're the reason why my nutrition's better, why everything's out of my mind. Like, I have a reason to get up now because you're going to social media, posting me getting knocked out, talking so much trash. But, these young kids don't know these days. Like I've been there. Like, this isn't the game. Like, no, just be respectful and get the fight. He put way too much pressure on himself.
Are there moments in there, that you really were like, okay, yeah, I might actually be teaching a lesson here? Because you said it. You said, I'm going to teach you a lesson in humility.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I even kind of stood there and see if he was going to sit there and trade with me. And all he wanted to do was stay on the outside and throw kicks. So I was like, oh, you were talking all that trash. Stay in the middle and fight me now. I've put it in my mind that I'm going to sit here and strike with you. Yeah. Let's see what we do. And, he fought out the hard way.
I think you made a statement for the old dudes. You got these young dudes coming in with like 2-3 fights, and they start trying to talk trash about a dude who's done as much as you. It's crazy.
I know,
that
right?
motivation must have been insane. I like what you made with that statement. This dude's game plan, like he came out and he was obviously, look, you got the ice packs on the forearms. I mean, did you expect for him, in the last week, you had Wonder Boy versus Bonfim. Wonder Boy just kept trying to take out those forearms to eventually come up to the head. When he started coming at your forearms super hard like that, were you cognizant of what he was trying to do, like eventually trying to get that head kick?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew he was going for the head kick eventually, setting him up and trying to shut down my left hand. But like you said, I've been here for 15 years. Like, I get kicked all the time. It's like, come on, I'll take your kicks because they're getting blocked. Like, you're just kicking me in my forearm. So you might think you're scoring points, but you're not. Like, you're not getting any through. Like, nothing really hurt me. He got a few teep kicks to the body, but that was it.
Yeah, I saw him going to the tees. I'm like, that's probably what he needs to do. It's because you were blocking those great.
Yeah.
But there was no times where, like, oh, man, he might have broke my forearm or anything like that.
I think I said it in the corner. I was like, I think he broke my forearm.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's okay. I'm like, we got 2 more rounds. I'll get through it. Don't worry about it. They're telling me to stay out of the way and block the kicks. I'm like, I can't. Like, he's kicking me. Like, that's all he's got. So, but I just put it in my mind to, like, hey, just take him. Like, who cares? Like, he ain't gonna really kick that hard.
Yeah.
It's just bone on bone.
That is UFC experience.
Yeah.
Knowing in the first round, after the first round, maybe my forearm is broken and it's just 10 more minutes. It's fine.
Like, it's
Who
fine.
cares?
15 years of fighting in the UFC. This was your 31st walk tonight, and you're in the record books. You tied the record for most knockdowns in lightweight history.
Let's go. About time. I knew I was getting close. I was like, I've been fighting way too long not to be up here in the record books. But yeah, I was really surprised with the drop, and I thought I rushed a little bit to get in there to finish, but he recovered very fast. Like I say, he's 25. Like, they recovered right away.
And even like in the first round, he slipped, you got on top, you got out of there. Did you not want to mess with ground and pound him? You wanted that to be a stand-up fight?
Nah, he's too long, and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, I didn't want to get in any danger.
Yeah.
I felt him trying to throw up a triangle. I'm just going to, stay out and get out of the way. Let that experience kick in for him,
Right. What's next, man? So 3-fight winning streak now. You've fought all the best guys in the world at this point. What's next?
Step 1, Max Holloway. I have not fought, and that's that BMF title right there. I think that belongs to me. So however their fight goes, I want to fight for that. I mean, I want to fight Max Holloway, put it like that. He's one of the best guys, and like I said, I got into this business to fight the best of the best. And I want that on my mantle, a fight with Max Holloway.
That'd actually be great because both of you guys are strikers, volume strikers, hit inside the pocket, good footwork. So I would love to see that.
A 5-round main event to close out the year. I love it.
I love that call out, Michael Johnson. Thanks so much, man. Congratulations.
No problem. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Woo! Let's go.
Big night for Michael Johnson. Super happy for him. And we also have 5 winners coming away with those $50,000 performance bonuses. We have Marvin Vittori and Brendan Allen getting fight of the night.
Oh.
Crispy Carly Judice with that first fight.
That was a great fight.
Pay-per-view perfectly.
Legit.
Islam Dulatov, and Atem Gauthier coming away with those performances of the night. A lot of big moments. I mean, the bonuses capture it pretty well, but were there anything that really stood out that we missed?
The bonuses don't just capture it pretty well. Tops is capturing some of these milestone moments pretty well. They are actually going to be releasing their cards with the special moments on it very, very soon. That's something you don't want to miss.
Yeah, from UFC 318, one big moment will be on a Tops card, and the only way you guys can know which one made it onto the card is by following @Tops on social media and signing up for their mailing list on Tops.com so you don't miss the official card release. A lot of words, a lot of big moments tonight. I mean, do you have any Tops cards?
I do have Tops
like
cards.
You're on them, right?
Yeah, I'm actually on Tops cards, yes.
Well, the cool thing is...
a former champion for crying out loud.
Well, I know, but Chris, you might be really interested in this because there's a main event buyback return program for the second year. It officially kicks off on July 20th, which is either today or right around the corner. And I'm just saying, like, maybe you want to return some of your cards and do the buyback program.
Are you saying people should return their Chris Weidman
I don't know, just for Chris, maybe he has
No, don't touch me. No, there's something on your shirt right there. No, right there.
All right,
Get out of here.
You too, Chris. I know you're dying to know.
I don't think hang on. I don't think people realize that former champions cards, when they retire, they skyrocket.
That's a valid
And the
point.
longer time goes, the more money you make. So do not sell those cards.
Exactly. No, they should they should buy them back.
They should
be a part of the buyback program. And you can find out which stores are participating in that and how much of a store credit you can get for the cards that you have in your possession that maybe you want to trade in for some new ones. There is a QR code on your screen, and you guys can check all of that out. Big night here in New Orleans. We do have some last notes to close on, some thoughts from Dana White saying that Max Holloway is the sky's the limit, basically, which is exactly what you want to hear from the boss after a night like tonight with so much on the line.
Yeah, in the mix for a title shot with Ilia, and also the BMF belt could be on the line in that fight as well.
Yeah, I mean, the UFC is going to do what they think is best for the business, but the thing, Max Holloway is such a legend in the sport at this point that he's going to get a little tip of the hat a little bit more often than some of these other guys. He's so easy to work with. You listen to him when we interviewed him. He's down for whatever the UFC wants. Obviously, he wants a title shot. He wants that to Poirier fight. But he's also down for a BMF shot against multiple people. You know, he's not the type of dude who just tries to pick his fights, you know, and I would love to see that Ilia to Poirier fight.
Well, we had Ilia on after his last fight. He was very candid about the fact that he was thinking about moving up and becoming a 3-division champion. But he also told us that the UFC wanted him to stay here for at least another fight, maybe a couple. So who knows? Maybe the next fight for Ilia, it could be Max.
I'm sorry, I want to see it. If it's not going to be Justin Gaethje, which I'm doubling down on that one. Justin Gaethje is a legend. Thank you very much. If it's not going to be Justin Gaethje next, I mean, give it the rematch. Max has had the time to properly move up, bulk up, make a home here at this lightweight division. Give him a shot at the title.
Those Dana White press conferences, some people get very happy, and then other people get very upset. Poor Justin Gaethje hears that he's not going to be happy. Arman Sarukian, even Dan Hooker, his BMF title shot is kind of off the line. A lot of people get disappointed, but it's the way the cookie crumbles.
If anyone deserves it, it would be Dustin Poirier, but since that is no longer, it is Max Holloway. The BMF, he calls himself the blessed man forever, but he is truly someone who steps up to any challenge, rises to every single occasion, and that is why he's the BMF, and that's why he is an absolute legend.
How about a couple of other people that we didn't talk about because we only interview the main card winners. We only focus on the main card. But I have somebody that I was super impressed with. Ateba Gautier with a first-round knockout over Robert Valentin, who was very lauded coming in. Gautier now 2-0 in the UFC. Both of those wins have been first-round finishes. That's a guy you want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, but he was a big favorite. I'm going with Vinicius Oliveira. It was pretty much a pick 'em fight against Kyler Phillips. This guy, he's a guy that everybody's been kind of like keeping an eye on. He's a very dynamic striker. He's young. He's really a dangerous guy. But man, Vinicius Oliveira walked him down with his hands down and was just throwing haymakers from the ground and for the entire fight.
Crispy Carly Judy, she's got my attention. Listen, native to Louisiana, she gets to come here, fight in her home state, and being the first fight of the night is a lot of pressure. You set the tone for the entire night, and it was just such a banger of a fight. She gets the nickname Crispy from her crisp striking. We saw that come through. 3rd round TKO. I mean, you got to be so happy for her. I believe she's still undefeated in the UFC as well.
I got one more. And it got fight of the night, right? I'm circling it because I actually wrote it down.
You did, ladies and gentlemen.
Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen, also a Louisiana native. And you know, he got into that little spat with Marvin at the casino. I think he threw 4 or 5 punches, and I thought Marvin slipped them all. Marvin did not slip them all tonight.
But we've been spoiled. 2 pay-per-views in 3 weeks. I mean, we got to do this twice in less than a month.
Well, you and I got to do it twice. Weidman missed the first one.
I'll be at the next one.
You'll be
you
in
better
Chicago.
be at every one of them, by the way.
Damn right I will. Thanks, everybody, for watching. This was About Last Fight. 2 down, many more to go. I hope you're listening and watching all over the world. And it's nice to have Weidman on a show for once. Thanks for joining us, everybody.